Of course, if anyone's harassing Jews on campus, that's completely impermissible, just as harassing any other students on campus. Communists do it too. I'm with you. But as it relates to government institutions and then public figures, that is an anti-American viewpoint. Speaking of the compelled speech, which is what we're seeing from the left, we're also seeing it now from some people, and it becomes a hot button issue because this is what I've said in the past, right? Is if there's a group of people with whom the Jews can do no right ever, those people are anti-Semites. If there are people with whom the Jews can do no wrong ever, those people are shills. This clip is making the rounds, and I want to be very prudent in my language, but I also want to be as straightforward as possible, okay? Saturday, Rabbi Levi Shemtov, during a Senate hearing, made these statements, which I'm not a huge fan of as it relates to anti-Semitism. I get that on campus. Okay, it's a problem, but he goes further.
Anti-Semitism is not just an age-old prejudice. It is a contemporary crisis manifesting on campuses across the nation. It is not enough for individuals or institutions to merely claim they are not anti-Semitic. As my father once taught me, it is not enough for people, especially public figures, to be neutral or not be anti-Semitic. One must be anti-anti-Semitic. We must demand the same of our universities and government institutions. This hearing, in my opinion, is an attempt to be just that, anti-anti-Semitic.
Now, let me be clear. I'm the one who supported, and I still do, the deporting of this pro-terrorist Khalil on campus. Anyone who harasses a Jewish student. And by the way, I also think that pro-terrorist organizations on campus probably shouldn't be allowed to exist. That being said, where he extends this to not only government institutions, but public figures. And he says, and it is not enough. As a public figure, you must be anti-Semitic. This is the issue. I don't like this as an American. Let's put aside my religion. Let's put aside us being out Christians and Jews. I don't like, as an American, you using this kind of language in this country.
I don't like these words as much as please. Thank you. I'm sorry to bother you, Nikki. These are better words you use. You come to my club without an invitation. Hear me?
Cuba Gooding Jr. is so good. Even though even when he's in crap, he's good. And before I go on with my opinion here, I want to be really clear, because I know that we're going to get some messages where people think I'm on one side and people think I'm on the other side. And by the way, I'm not a centrist. To be clear, I've made my views crystal clear. I am pro-America. I am pro-First Amendment. I am pro-freedom of speech. Yeah. And I believe that even if you hold views that could potentially be seen as anti-American, as long as it's not supporting a foreign caliphate or a terrorist organization, you have the right to do so. So before you think that I'm throwing my lot in here with the people who believe that the Jews are the cause of all ills in the world, let me make it clear.
We're the same, don't you see?
We are not the same.
Okay. So let me express my point of view here. And I think I'm a Christian. I believe that Israel has not only a right to exist, I also believe that there's obviously a historical context there that matters. I hate Hamas. I hate Hezbollah. I don't even know how much of a problem I would have if it came to completely inhumane treatment for every last member of Hamas. Put a bottle rocket up their ass for all I care. Okay? That's my view on it. Now, as far as the funding, I think we fund all sides of the war, and I think that that's not very good foreign policy. So let me separate, though, myself here as a Christian, because right now we're talking about the United States. As an American, you don't get to tell Americans what they must be, what they must say. It's not enough to not be anti-Semitic. Yes, it is. You have to be anti-Semitic. You are now demanding through that the topics that we have to cover. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not the fact that this guy's Jewish. That statement, and extending it to public figures, we're not just talking about on campus. Of course, if anyone's harassing Jews on campus, that's completely impermissible, just as harassing any other students on campus. Communists do it too. I'm with you. But as it relates to government institutions and then public figures, that is an anti-American viewpoint. And you know what? Someone like this, unfortunately, gives quarter to the actual anti-Semites out there who go, see, he's saying this because he has political immunity. He's saying because, and then they go, and because the Jews run everything from here to, no, that's not the case. But it is true that he thinks he has some political immunity right here. You must be anti-Semitic. Okay? Again, Christian separate. As an American, Rabbi, shut up. Shut up. I have the same problem with someone from ISIS who says it with a threat, or some Marxist from a campus or a university professor or YouTube or big tech. Shut up. When you do this, you now, and this is not, we have Jews who work here. This is not emblematic of all Jews. This gives credence to the idea, or people who share and spread the idea, that Jews in this country place an allegiance to Judaism before the United States. Not all Jews do that, by the way. Some do. This guy seems to. How is that a matter of American policy? Who are you to tell us what we can and can't say, what we can and can't think? Sounds a lot like Black Lives Matter. Sounds a lot like Antifa. Sounds a lot like communism. Sounds a lot like hate speech. Jews have said this too, and rightfully so, with the Islamic community. There need to be more people who speak out against it, considering that we have 150 million Muslims across the world right now who believe that violence is sometimes appropriate. That's a problem. And that's a statistic that we provided to you many times. I believe it's something like 60 million Muslims believe that violence is often
50 or 60, yeah.
Permissible. Over 130, 150 million who believe it's sometimes permissible. There aren't enough Muslims speaking out against it, right? American Jews. There aren't enough of you raking this guy over the coals. He deserves it. There aren't enough of you saying, hey, I'm American first. And even if I think that anti-Semitism is gross, it's horrible, of course, as an American and a citizen of this country, where my loyalty lies, I have to protect the right of individuals to express their opinions and exercise the First Amendment, provided they are not committing a crime or actually calling people to violence. This is bad. This is a bad look. This is a bad message. It's going to sow more division. And the very fact that I am saying this, and I know that there will be people mad on both sides, is what makes this bad. Let me make it really clear. People like this rabbi, not all Jews, and certainly not all American Jews. It's not enough to be anti-Semitic. You, as a public figure, have to be anti-Semitic. Shut up. You don't get special treatment.
Hey, Jews, don't get so mad. We don't control speech here in America. Remember, your race and your religion don't set you apart or make your rights better.
And I don't even know what this rabbi wants us to do. Make our colleges more pro-Jew? Change the mascots? Oh, well, we'll make that available.
Oh, nice.
I want to ride his train. What?
What did you say, Gerald?
And again, if you line up a row of American Jews and students for Hamas, guess where I'm going? If it's like Air Bud, where, the dog will go to whoever his true friend is, I'm going over to the guys in the tiny hats. I want to be really clear. The issue is with compelled speech. Compelled speech. It's un-American, it's unconstitutional. By the way, we've talked about this before. It was confirmed in the West Virginia Board of Education versus Barnett in 1943. If there's any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, say that 3 times fast, it is that no official, high or petty, can prescribe what shall be orthodox in politics, nationalism, religion, or other matters of opinion, or force citizens to confess by word or act their faith therein. It's clear as day. Now, maybe he can explain this, and if he says, I didn't mean public figure, I didn't mean people in media, and I certainly didn't mean government institutions as far as mandating not only speech, but a specific side. If he clarifies that, okay, he needs to clarify it, because I'm on board with the ending violence and ending harassment of students on campus, and we have seen that. And I'm on board with, frankly, ending organizations that support actual terrorism that call for the extermination of Jews.
Yes.
But I also understand that there are some people out there who may have different views of Israel who of course should be able to express their opinion.
And not be called anti-Semitic for it.
Yeah.
Right? You should place no loyalty to any other country over the country that you're in. I'm sorry. What he said is fundamentally anti-American.
Yep.
I understand the point he's trying to make, but he made it in a way that crosses a line for us. You can have a loyalty greater than to the United States. That's to God. Fine. Not to a country.
Right.
If you have that loyalty to that country, that's fantastic. Go live there and be a citizen of that country and make it the best country that you can possibly make it. But you're not there. You're here, which means you ascribe to our values. You're not going out and saying, I have to say anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
It
just feeds right into what people who go way too far with this and Jews responsible for everything wanted to hear. They're like, see, told you.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's not just, the problem is they'll say only Jews do this. It's not. But what we do have to recognize, it has largely been, outside of this current conversation, only leftists. It's the Black Lives Matter. It's the Antifa. It's the you will bake our cakes. And this is why there's this type of civil infighting in the conservative movement, because there are people who are being consistent, by the way, who even support Israel, but have a problem with this kind of rhetoric and the idea of compelled speech. Why? Because we hear this and we go, this sounds eerily familiar to demands from groups that I don't think were conservative.
No one becomes an anti-racist. It is only something we can strive to be.
There's no such thing as passive anti-racism, because anti-racism is a verb. It requires action.
What's needed is a new way of life.
So silence is violence.
Anti-racist way of life. A new
but sit down and shut up.
It's not good enough to say that racism is inappropriate, is bad. We've got to reach those people today who are so angry, who are so hateful.
It's not enough to be non-racist. We must actively be anti-racist.
There's that question again. When it comes to racism, are you a non-racist?
Yes.
Or are you an anti-racist?
To say one is not racist doesn't actually connote any action. Anti-racist is connected to love.
Oh, yeah, okay. But then you also expand the definition and say that the United States is based on systems of oppression and it's all racist. Therefore, if you don't fight against it, you're not an anti-racist. No, look, I'm not racist. That's enough. If you say if you're not a racist, that is enough.
Yes.
That's enough. That's it. You don't need to go. You know what they want to do is say, oh, if you're not anti-racist, so then it can be sort of this gradient where they can judge. You go, that's not enough. Anti-racism. Are you pro-gay? Let's add a G to it. Let's add a T to it. Let's add a plus. Are you pro-gay? Shut up.
It's never enough.
It's never enough. And I don't want to see that happen with the right because of some Jewish activists who do not represent proud Americans who happen to be Jewish and trying to place their rights or feelings above those of anyone else. There's all kinds of things that are said that offend my sensibilities. I don't want to use the term offend, but of course should be offensive. I don't really have that chip in my brain.
No, but nobody's special in this case. And look, Jews, if you think it's unique to you, it's not. We didn't trust Catholics early on in this country because we thought they placed more loyalty to the Pope than they would to the leadership here in this country.
Still don't.
That is a common problem throughout history. It's not about being Jewish. It's about where your loyalties lie. When it comes down to it, when the rubber meets the road, are you going to stand up for what this country believes in or the ideas of somebody else? That's always been a red line.
Yeah.
For any group of people, Muslims included. You could throw Christians in there too, like I did with the Pope.
Yeah.
That's everybody.
Yeah. This is so you have
Definitely Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't trust them.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I invite them in and waste their time. Like I ask them a ton of questions about, what's the number of people getting to heaven? Why so specific?
144,000.
I start doing long division like I'm the janitor in Goodwill Hunting on the wall.
So what happens? You recruit me and then I take your spot in heaven? Is that
exactly?
That's right. Yeah.
So you recruit me and then I'll be nicer than you and it looks like I bump you.
Or is it like Amway, where the more people you get under you, the higher a place in heaven you have?
I'm not entirely
when
sure.
When do you get diamond status at Jehovah Amway?
Yeah. And then I let them know the next time you knock on my door, you're on my property and I'm within my rights to shoot you.
Oh.
Just joking, April Fools. So Black Lives Matter, they do it. And then, of course, gay, right? The LGBTQ plus movement. We're in 2012 where they targeted a Christian Colorado baker. You will bake our cakes. And then we go to the trans movement, right? 2019, you had a teacher fired in Virginia for refusing to use a student's preferred pronouns, not to mention in Canada. Jordan Peterson with Bill C-16. 2023, 2 students in California were suspended for misgendering a teacher. And here's the thing, right? It's Black Lives Matter. Check your privilege. You can't misgender someone. You can't dead name someone, which I don't even know how that happens if someone is not trans isn't a thing according to Strangio. But there's one group in this country consistently that the left certainly hasn't tried to compel as far as speech, because Christians were targeted with the wedding cake.
Yeah,
Christians were targeted with misgendering. But what's the one group that they're kind of hands off with? What is it?
Americans?
What's really important is getting the picture and the writing. So it's going to be me and Benny. Well, you have pictures there.
No, on the machine you have in Kroger.
In Kroger?
Yeah.
Like the grocery store?
No.
Where you would tell me to go somewhere across the street.
They were like, get the hell out of here.
I did go to Dearborn, Michigan and ask them to bake a gay wedding cake. And
and then did you go through with the wedding?
Most of them said no. There were some who were willing to say yes, but most were no. They were very polite about it.
They did. They gave suggestions. They're like, no, Kroger.
Go to Kroger.
It's abomination.
Kroger, I go to there. They're very gay.
You get a wedding cake from Kroger?
Yeah, why not?
Gross.
Yeah, spring for Costco. Hey,
I wouldn't even get a cupcake from Kroger.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's like they set out with the mission. We're like, all right, look, our baked goods have not been doing well. They haven't been moving at Kroger. So how do we make this shit as dry as possible? Toolman, what's going on with your hair?
Yeah, I cut it all off.
Jeez. Why would you? You had such a thick head of hair.
Yeah.
Well, I need some extra cash.
Extra cash. What kind of weirdo would buy your hair?
You'd be very surprised.
Hey, Josh.
Hey.
Do you notice anything?
Yeah, it looks like you glued Tim's pubes to your head.
I sold 2 wigs.
Oh. If you needed
like a merkin?
If you needed money, you're looking ways to save money, you could have just called American Financing. They've actually helped thousands of Americans purchase or refinance their homes with no upfront costs, no hidden fees. Yeah, you can go to americanfinancing.net/Crowder.
NMLS 182334.
Shut your dirty CEO Gentile mouth.
No. 182334. I'm sorry.
American Financing. I think you can delay up to 2 mortgage payments. You don't need to sell your hair.
No.
I mean, I do
Refinance.
enjoy selling it to Sam.
I do understand that component too.
It's like a straw buyer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
He looks great for 1983.
He does. He does. He also drives that Camaro, that old Camaro, that old 89.
I thought it was a Firebird. I don't know my cars.
Yeah, I don't know him either. I can't really tell the difference.
Surprisingly fast to give up his money, too.
Hey!
Oh, he got it back. He sold us Kroger cupcakes with a crazy upcharge in the office.
I'm anti both of those things.
Yes, me too. I'm anti whatever it is we're talking about. The good news is that this is going to implode. This whole thing of you can't say that, you can't say this on the right as it relates to the anti-Semitism speech or the Israel speech. And by the way, they even kind of do the same thing with Russia, Ukraine. Compelling speech is a surefire way to kill your cause. I mean, just look at Black Lives Matter, right? They went from a massive approval rating, like 2/3 of the country, to removing murals and paint jobs across the country. Now 2/3 of Americans oppose the compelled use of pronouns.
Right.
That's where this goes. So as far as anti-Semitism, bad. But someone demanding that as a matter of policy and will judge you by, are you anti-Semitic enough? Where do you think that goes? You can comment below. I think, unfortunately, this will result in some blowback that is going to be bad for some people who guys like this maybe think they're helping the most.
It hurts their cause insanely. I don't even know what this hearing was necessarily about, but he obviously said this was taking a step towards anti-Semitic, being anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've seen talking about this is like, even people who are very reasonable are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't say that. That's exactly what the left does. But that goes to your point the other day. It seems like when we were talking about AIPAC, they're just supporting people who support Israel. This guy's like, I am just supporting a cause that I care about. American values be damned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's like AIPAC. Well, I hate AIPAC because you gave massive amounts of cash to Hakeem Jeffries.
Yes.
Right, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I believe. That's my problem, the same problem I have with Act Blue. And by the way, I know plenty of conservative American Jews who should, and I would imagine, are also pissed. My same thing here. Hey, what matters more to you? Secure borders? trimming bloat from the budget, $500 billion a year in fraud, what Doge is doing, freedom of speech? Or would you sooner support someone who says, I am super anti-Semitic? Because that is not a litmus test, and it shouldn't be. And that's really the misdeed in all of this. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the live daily show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.